So this is just going to be a quick video for anybody wanting to know where all the recipes are for the items that I had in my crafting video. I'm going to apologize ahead of time for any merchants that are dead on my playthrough. I'll still show the location and try to put a box around the area to highlight and possibly find a picture for you guys. So the first recipe here is for crystal darts. You can find this one by the Liurnia of the Lake Site of Grace. There's going to be a merchant around here that'll give you the cookbook for this item. As long as you go to the area that I'm at, you're certain to find them. They aren't hidden whatsoever. Next one is your heavy hitter, Exalted Flesh. Now this one's kind of tricky to find because he's out in the middle of nowhere and not next to a site of grace necessarily like a lot of the other merchants. You should start seeing a campfire when you move south of the minor Erd tree. Here you can buy the recipe book for Exalted Flesh, and this is a really big one. I would highly recommend it. The pickled turtleneck recipe is pretty easy to find. You're just going to warp here to Saints Bridge, walk the whole way across, and the merchant's going to be over here on the right by the rocks. Now I have two extra additions here that I'm slapping myself in the head on for not including in the last one. These two recipes are the neutralizing boluses and the preserving boluses. These are huge for your playthroughs because you do not want to be going through a rot swamp or a poison swamp without any means of curing them. So neutralizing bolus is pretty simple to get. You're going to warp down here to Coastal Cave, head out of the cave, go left, and the merchant's going to be roughly around this area where you see all the signs. Preserving boluses is a little bit trickier since it's not sold by a merchant. For the preserving boluses, you're going to want to warp here to the Siofra riverbank. Hopefully I pronounced that right. You're going to want to head up left along these cliffs. There are going to be two annoying spirits here, but you can get rid of them really easy. After you get rid of the spirits, you're going to notice a body here. Yeah, the one I'm hitting right here, that's where the recipe is. So fire grease is one of the earliest, if not the earliest grease recipe you can find. You're going to want to warp a little southeast of the gate where you first got your horse. You just head to this area up here, a little bit northeast where I have marked, and there's going to be an encampment of soldiers. You can clear it out if you want, but the important thing here is the recipe that you're going to find roughly around this location. Freezing Grease is going to be right next to the Last Yar Ruin Site of Grace. You probably already found it if you found this Site of Grace, but perhaps you passed the Site of Grace and didn't see it, so here you go. Now Feta Pot, this is a really big one. I talked very highly of this. You're going to find Feta Pot a little left of the big tree icon where you found the big bear scratching the tree. Freezing Pot is another huge one that I recommend. This one also isn't as early as the other ones, but I'm including it because I consider it so important. Now to get this one, you're going to want to go northwest up around Karya Manor. Whenever you head in, you just hug the wall to the right and keep following it until you find an empty room. This room will have the recipe book for freezing pots. Rot Pot's another personal favorite of mine. For here, you're going to want this Site of Grace in the Lake of Rot. To get to the Lake of Rot, you're going to have to proceed with Ronnie's quest line, so look up a guide on that if you haven't gotten this far. So just warp here, head up the stairs, and start going left. Once you go far enough, you'll see a building that has a treasure chest in it. This chest has the recipe book for Rot Pot. Now, Lightning Pot is great for dexterity builds. You're going to find this at the forest-spanning Great Bridge checkpoint. Right next to the Site of Grace, there's going to be a merchant. Now, he's not there for me because I'm a heartless fuck and I killed him, but he'll be there if you haven't been there. Now, Fire Pot's a weird one because I could not, for the life of me, find which recipe book had it in it. I'm not sure if it's a glitch, but the recipe book you find here should allow you to craft fire pots, although the recipe book itself won't include fire pots in its items. And here is the biggest, possibly most important recipe book of all, the Perfumers Recipe Book. Now this one's a double whammy because it gives you both of my favorite perfumes, Uplifting Aromatic and Spark Aromatic. To get this one, you're going to have to beat the magma worm and find your way up to the abandoned coffin. If you hug the cliff going west, you're going to run into the Perfumers Ruins. Now the name should give it away itself, but whenever you clear out these ruins, there should be a chest that has a Perfumers Cookbook in it. I would consider this one of the most important cookbooks that you can find. As always, appreciate the watch. Like the video, subscribe if you like the content. Have a good one.